In a moment no one saw coming, Prince Edward has finally broken his silence, and he's in tears. During a private conversation caught on a hot mic, Edward made a chilling claim. Princess Diana's death wasn't an accident. He names names. He points fingers. And he says what the crown has long feared, that someone within the palace circle wanted Diana gone. This is not rumor. This is a royal confession. And it could change everything. Prince William's explosive confrontation. Prince William's done to Buckingham Palace when he delivered a private but scathing confrontation to Queen Camilla, a moment that insiders called the most direct rebellion by a future king in modern royal history. This wasn't a heat-of-the-moment outburst, it was calm, deliberate and planned. Senior aides and even King Charles were reportedly present and left in stunned silence. William's words cut deep. The confrontation stemmed from ongoing tensions involving Princess Kate, who had allegedly endured months of coldness and exclusion from royal circles. According to palace sources, William accused Camilla of crossing boundaries, manipulating press coverage, and attempting to redefine her own status at Kate's expense. William reportedly said this ends now, signaling that the family would not allow history to repeat itself. The shadow of Princess Diana loomed heavily. William is said to have referenced his late mother's suffering directly, making it clear that he saw echoes of Diana's mistreatment playing out once again, this time through Kate. Charles, reportedly pale and visibly uncomfortable, didn't intervene. In that moment, the divide between the old guard and the next generation became impossible to ignore. By standing up to Camilla in front of the monarch, Prince William wasn't just defending his wife, he was defending the dignity of his mother, the strength of his marriage, and the future of the monarchy. This wasn't just a family dispute, it was a royal power shift. The tone of the crown had changed. While William stood his ground with quiet fury, Queen Camilla responds behind closed doors, stunned even her oldest allies. What followed was not a composed rebuttal, but a breakdown. For the first time since entering royal life, the woman once called unshakable by the press crumbled under pressure, and Charles found himself trapped in the middle of a palace implosion. Camilla, his meltdown behind palace doors. Inside the private quarters of Clarence House, Queen Camilla lost control in what royal staff called an unprecedented meltdown. She was seen crying, pacing, and screaming about betrayal. Her fury was aimed at Prince William, Princess Kate, and even King Charles. "They've turned on me," she reportedly screamed, slamming doors and threatening to leave London altogether. She accused Kate of manipulating William and described her as cold, smug, and dangerous. Her anger toward Charles was no softer. She lashed out at him for refusing to defend her against his son's accusations. "You always choose them over me," Camilla is said to have cried, highlighting the emotional toll the confrontation had taken. King Charles, torn between his queen and his heir, reportedly looked frozen during the outburst. While he attempted to soothe her, aides noted his visible fear of further alienating William, whose growing influence and popularity made him indispensable to the monarchy. Camilla, his emotional collapse, exposed just how fragile her position in the royal hierarchy truly was. Inside Buckingham Palace, panic set in. Engagements were cancelled. Press briefings were tightened and private meetings were scrambled. Senior courtiers knew the crisis wasn't just about personalities, it was about public trust. The monarchy was built on unity and poise. Now, for the first time in years, it looked fractured from the inside out. The storm brewing behind the scenes spilled into public view within days. At a major royal engagement, Princess Kate made a silent but powerful statement. No shouting, no confrontation, just the breaking of one sacred gesture. And in that moment, as Camilla stood waiting, Kate's refusal to curtsy told the world that the royal power balance had changed. Kate refuses to curtsy. At a televised royal ceremony attended by Queen Camilla, King Charles, Prince William and Princess Kate, one unexpected moment never came as Camilla entered. All royal women curtsied except Kate. She stood upright, offered only a restrained nod, and turned her head. The cameras caught it instantly, and so did the world. The silence was deafening. This wasn't a fluke or oversight. Insiders confirmed that Kate Middleton had deliberately broken centuries-old royal protocol. The snub came just days after Camilla. His coronation guest list excluded the Middleton family despite their pivotal role in supporting the royal image. Royal watchers immediately labelled the gesture Kate's declaration of independence. Inside Buckingham Palisades, scrambled. Some condemned the move as disrespectful, while others saw it as a strategic masterstroke. Prince William reportedly offered no public comment, but his expression during the ceremony was stiff, focused, and unblinking. Observer: I believe Kate's action had his full support. Even if unspoken, the once carefully balanced relationship between the two royal women was now visibly broken. Outside the palace, the public responded swiftly. No curtsy, and reporters' stand with Kate trended globally. People saw Kate standing up, not just for herself, but for modern royal values. For many, that subtle defiance signaled a new royal chapter, one where respect is no longer commanded by title alone, but by integrity, compassion, and truth. But if Kate's curtsy made headlines, what happened at King Charles? His coronation would spark a firestorm. Behind the pageantry was a cold decision, a guest list that told a story, and once again, it was Camilla who drew the line. What should have been a unifying day for the crown became a turning point, and William would not stay silent. The coronation guest list that started a fire. The stage was set for history. King Charles III's coronation was meant to be a unifying moment for the monarchy, but behind the gold-plated ceremony was a guest list that quietly shattered royal harmony. Queen Camilla, given full control over her invitees, chose to include over 20 of her personal friends, socialites, society women, and long-time loyalists, but she excluded for members of the Middleton family. The snub was not overlooked. Princess Kate's parents, Carol and Michael Middleton, along with her siblings, had been instrumental in building the image of a related will and modern monarchy. Their exclusion left Kate humiliated and Prince William absolutely livid. One royal insider said it was a message, and William heard it loud and clear. The decision blindsided the Middletons, who had expected to be honored, not erased. Even Archbishop Justin Welby, who officiated the ceremony, reportedly noticed the tension. Multiple sources say he mentioned the icy atmosphere in the royal pews where William, Kate, and Camilla sat within feet of one another, but never exchanged a glance. Body language analysts later described Kate's stiff posture and Camilla's cold expression as glacial. In the public eye, it seemed like just another elegant event. But behind those ceremonial smiles was a battlefield. For Prince William, Camilla, his coronation choices weren't just petty, they were insults aimed at the woman he loves and the family that raised her. What should have been a celebration became a spark for deeper resentment. In the days following the coronation, the tension didn't fade, it calcified. At every public appearance, the chill between Kate and Camilla grew more visible. But it wasn't just personal anymore. From had to make adjustments, reroute events, and redesign entire seating charts. The monarchy wasn't just dealing with drama, it was dealing with a royal freeze, a silent divide within the monarchy. What began as whispers became impossible to ignore. At official engagements, Princes Kate and Queen Camilla barely acknowledged one another. At charity galas, royal tours, and remembrance events, senior staff were instructed to adjust seating arrangements to avoid photos of the two women together. "It's gotten that bad," admitted one insider from Kensington Palace. Cameras caught everything: Camilla's clenched jaw, Kate's fixed smile, the deliberate distance between their seats. In one high-profile event, King Charles was positioned directly between them, a human buffer against further speculation. Behind the scenes, even aides admitted they were constantly putting out emotional fires. The once carefully balanced unity of the royal family now felt like a staged performance. Those close to the situation described the silence as more dangerous than arguments. Camilla, long known for her behind-the-scenes influence, reportedly stopped inviting Kate to certain planning meetings. Kate, in turn, kept her calendar tight and avoided Camilla-focused events altogether. The absence of warmth was its own headline. Observers say this marks a shift in royal power. Kate Middleton, now Princess of Wales, represents a generation that values emotional intelligence, authenticity, and stability. In contrast, Camilla's legacy remains controversial, and with Prince William backing his wife publicly and privately, it's clear which direction the monarchy's future may be heading. But silence doesn't last forever. When one woman steps back, another often pushes forward. Camilla, feeling her grip on control slipping, began working behind the curtain, asserting herself in subtle but powerful ways. From speeches to social protocol, she made a move that would draw battle lines, not judge between people but within the very structure of the monarchy. Kate and Camilla's very different royal paths. At the heart of the divide is not just rivalry, it's legacy. Princess Kate and Queen Camilla represent two entirely different visions of the monarchy. Kate, admired by younger generations for her grace, motherhood, and quiet strength, has become the face of a modern, relatable royal future. Camilla, on the other hand, still battles public perception as the woman who once came between Prince Charles and Princess Diana. Public opinion reflects the contrast. While Kate's approval ratings remain sky-high, Camilla has continued to lag. British tabloids once dubbed Camilla the most hated woman in Britain. Though time has softened her image, she's never reached the emotional connection the public holds for Kate. And that gap continues to grow with each awkward event and each subtle clash. Camilla's approach to power is calculated. She favors private influence, managing staff, overseeing speeches, and making quiet demands. Kate, however, leads by presence. She's hands-on with charities, connects directly with the public, and avoids palace politics. One aide commented, "Camilla plays the long game. Kate just shows up and wins hearts instantly." With Prince William by her side, Kate has leaned into a royal path paved with empathy and modern values. Camilla, still navigating her past, is trying to assert herself as a legitimate queen consort. But in a monarchy where public favor is everything, the battle between these two royal women is more than personal. It's about who defines the crown's next chapter. But Camilla's quiet influence was about to backfire. Her attempt to tighten royal protocol, sideline Kate, and reshape public appearances only fueled more division. In her push for control, she crossed a line, one that even longtime loyalists could no longer ignore, and in doing so she may have triggered the downfall of her own influence within the royal family. Camilla's push for power. In the aftermath of the coronation tensions, Queen Camilla attempted to reassert control not through confrontation but through quiet manipulation. She began influencing event schedules, suggesting edits to royal speeches, and adjusting public appearances in ways that subtly sidelined Princess Kate. Staff began to notice a shift. It wasn't overt, one aide explained, but it was clear. Camilla wanted command. She allegedly altered dress protocols, ensuring that during one state visit Kate's attire was toned down to avoid overshadowing her own. She made comments on media placements, reportedly pushing for more stories to highlight her charitable initiatives, and downplaying Kate's frequent wins in public polling. Behind closed doors, Prince William was said to be furious. His wife was not just being disrespected, she was being edged out. but Camilla's tactics began to backfire. Her influence, once seen as mature and stabilizing, now appeared petty and territorial. Even seasoned courtiers, those loyal since the Charles-Diana era, began questioning her judgment. "You don't alienate the future queen," one royal staffer warned. Yet Camilla continued her campaign, convinced that subtlety would protect her. The problem was the public noticed. Social media exploded with comparisons between Kate's elegance and Camilla's perceived coldness. Tabloid headlines, once critical of Meghan Markle, shifted focus toward Camilla's quiet grabs for control. For the first time in years, her grip on royal favor began to slip, and there was no palace spin strong enough to fix it. But while Camilla's strategy faltered, another voice from the past returned, one that could never be silenced. Prince Harry, estranged and living oceans away, stepped forward with a revelation that shattered decades of palace messaging. His words didn't just validate William's rage, they painted a chilling picture of Camilla, his ambition, and the pain she allegedly caused both brothers for years. Prince Harry's explosive revelation adds fuel. In his memoir and televised interviews, Prince Harry dropped a bombshell. He accused Queen Camilla of planting stories in the press to rehabilitate her image at the expense of others. According to Harry, Camilla had been quietly leaking information for years, making subtle deals with the media to improve her standing with the public or target anyone who stood in her way. He labeled her dangerous and calculated, and said she used people as collateral damage to climb to the throne. While Harry never directly attacked King Charles, he made it clear that his father allowed the betrayal. This aligned with what many royal watchers suspected for years, that Camilla's path to queenship was paved not just in patience but in manipulation. While William has never publicly commented on Harry's accusations, his silence was telling, and now, with his growing distance from Camilla and visible support of Princess Kate, many believe he agrees more with his brother than anyone at Buckingham Palace is willing to admit. They are one set. Rated narratives were now intertwined in a slow-burning rebellion against the Queen Consort. Camilla, sources say, felt blindsided by Harry's public attack and was deeply hurt that Charles didn't issue a stronger defense. The royal household went into full lockdown mode, with PR teams scrambling, but the damage was done. The once untouchable narrative that Camilla had been quietly accepted into the royal fold was now cracked, and for many permanently broken. But Camilla, his biggest rival, wasn't Harry, it wasn't even Kate. It was the ghost. She could never outrun Princess Diana. No matter how many titles she gained or how many appearances she made, Camilla remained in Diana's shadow, and as Diana's old letters resurfaced and comparisons reignited, the public began asking one uncomfortable question: would Diana say now? The Diana shadow that never fades. From the day Camilla Parker Bowles re-entered Prince Charles' life, she carried the weight of a comparison. She could never shake Princess Diana. Even in death, Diana remained the most iconic royal figure of the modern era, charismatic, beloved, and tragically wronged. Camilla, by contrast, was seen as the woman who helped tear that fairy tale apart. Prince William, fiercely loyal to his mother's memory, has reportedly never forgiven Camilla completely. Sources say that behind palace walls he avoids casual conversation with her and keeps engagements formal. And when letters from Diana resurfaced, letters warning of dark forces and silent battles behind palace doors, many pointed directly at Camilla as the implied threat. Public sentiment has always favored Diana, or humanitarian work or vulnerability, and her resistance to royal formality made her timeless. Meanwhile, Camilla's rise has remained controversial despite the Crown's attempt to position her as stable and supportive. Every move she makes is weighed against what Diana might have done. Even in 2025, Princess Diana's legacy continues to shape the monarchy's identity. And for Camilla, each new moment of tension, especially those involving Kate, is seen as another failure to live up to her predecessor. Diana's ghost doesn't just haunt Camilla, it overshadows her, and no matter how many jewels she wears, that is a crown she cannot inherit. But as Camilla struggled with ghosts and grudges, King Charles faced a reckoning of his own. Torn between loyalty to his wife and a growing rift with his son, he was forced to choose. And when that choice came, it exposed the monarchy's deepest fracture, a family broken at its core, live on the world stage. King Charles forced to choose. The palace hoped to maintain the illusion of unity, but after Prince William's confrontation, Queen Camilla's tantrum, and the public backlash, the truth emerged. King Charles III was trapped. Multiple sources reveal that Charles attempted to host a private reconciliation meeting with William and Camilla, but William reportedly walked out early, refusing to apologize or entertain rehearsed peace. Charles, said to be deeply shaken, appeared increasingly withdrawn in his public duties. At one Commonwealth engagement, cameras caught him visibly trembling, a moment royal aides later attributed to stress, not health. For the first time in his reign, the king looked isolated, unable to unite the two pillars of his life, his son and his queen. Behind closed doors, Charles' silence only deepened the divide. Refusing to publicly support Camilla or confront William, he instead leaned into making speeches and traveling without clear comment. Royal insider said he had lost control of his family and that his indecision was becoming a liability. Supporters feared the crown itself looked weakened. And so, in front of the cameras, the monarchy endured, but behind palace gates, trust had fractured. The carefully maintained image of Charles as a wise, fatherly monarch was now tainted with uncertainty. For the first time, the throne looked vulnerable, not from scandal, but from within, a house divided and a future unclear. What began as whispers has now erupted into a royal storm. Prince Edward's emotional breakdown is haunting words, and the veiled truths about Diana's final hours raise one terrifying question: did the monarchy protect the truth, or bury it as the public demands answers and old secrets resurface? One thing is certain: the legacy of Princess Diana refuses to rest. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned, because what's coming next could shake Buckingham Palace to score.